breaths. Breathe in and out. And in and out. And one more. Inhale and exhale. It is good to be together this morning.
Good morning and welcome. Good morning. There we go. My name is Carol Hamlin-Foray, and I have the privilege of being your worship associate this morning as we kick off our month of Cultivating Compassion. I'm joined today, obviously, by Rev Gail Marriner and Lydia Madrick, our musical director. We also will be hearing later in the service from Cheryl Ansell and Jan McCrae, representing Esperanza Shelter, who is the recipient of our first Sunday giving. So you'll hear more from them later. As always, we are so grateful for all the people who make these services possible. Our office staff, Aaron, Mary, and Doug, our parking lot safety team, our greeters, our hospitality team, and also our amazing tech team, who are running one man short today. So, Michael, John, James, and Jim, who make it possible for you to hear us, and for those of you watching at home to hear us as well. So we welcome those of you here in Fogelson, anyone having coffee with their service in Fellowship Hall, and anyone watching online. Good morning and welcome. To start us off this morning, we're going to sing a song from the Teal Hymnal. It's number 1023, and this is a round. We're going to sing it all, it's short, we're going to sing it all together the first time through. And then we'll divide into sections and see how it goes.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we'll do the piano side, the center section, and the pulpit side. We'll let Lydia play it maybe through once so we get the tune. Number 1023, Building Bridges.
Thank you, friends. We did pretty well, yeah. We always have quite a lively conversation when we do the walkthrough before the service about, well, are we up to a round today? And the answer was clearly, we were, so that's lovely. Our opening words this morning are from the Reverend Michelle Collins, who writes, "Some days the world's pain floods through us like water through a broken dam. Every headline, every cry of distress becoming our own. We come here thirsty for the wisdom to care without drowning, to love without losing ourselves in the undertow of others' sorrows. Come, Let us seek together the steady foundation from which true compassion flows. Now, as we light our chalice this morning, I'm going to add 2 stones to the bowl of the chalice for the 2 individuals killed in worship in Manchester, England, on Yom Kippur.
We also have some chalice lighting words from Reverend Michelle Collins. We light this chalice as we learn to hold both tenderness and strength. May this flame illuminate the wisdom to know when compassion calls us to offer comfort and when it demands courageous action. Now we have a musical interlude with Lydia. Thank you, Lydia. The first of our readings this morning may sound familiar, and we're grateful to Leslie Rombo for letting us borrow her words that she used last month because they fit so well with our theme. Hear this invocation and see if it resonates with you. When you see me and I feel seen, I experience welcome. When I feel that I am welcomed, I experience ease. When I am at ease, I experience a sense of peace. In peace, we belong. Our next reading is a poem from James Cruz called Antidote. Someone is feeling invisible, like a ghost in clothing roaming this crowded world. Someone believes they don't belong here, but you hold the medicine they need. A simple one-syllable hey, along with a nod and a wave, could save a life. You can feel the air shift whenever 2 people connect, a slight stirring like a shy animal waking from its long sleep between strangers.
So throughout the last month, are we on? There. Aha, there we go. Throughout the last month, we've been musing rather a lot about othering. Why we other each other, how it harms all of us. One core element of othering is the denial of someone's or some group's personhood, the refusal to see or acknowledge their full humanity, and often the deliberate erasure of their worthiness, their dignity, even their existence. There's a lot of that going around right now, on both sides, all sides. Being othered, erased, belittled, diminished, ignored hurts. It makes people feel angry and defensive. They, or we, if we're the ones who are feeling ignored, begin to nurse our grievances, and if we're not careful, that can make us more likely to try to retaliate against the folks who hurt us. Many people who voted for the current administration did it because they had grievances, and they believed that the Republican candidate saw them and understood their pain better than the other candidates. When we're not seen, we hurt. When we're seen and our full humanity is acknowledged, then that pain is diminished. So one of the powerful antidotes to othering is the insistence on seeing and acknowledging everyone we encounter, seeing their particularity, their full humanity. We can do it one-on-one, but we can also do it in other more public ways, like Black Lives Matter signs, or #MeToo bumper stickers, or immigrants are welcome here banners, the pride flags lining the walls today for LGBTQ History Month, handicapped accessible and gender-neutral bathrooms with changing tables, kid spaces like the Treehouse, special offerings to support our community partners. These are all gestures towards seeing people and groups who maybe are not accustomed to being visible. When you flip through the back of the hymnal, there's something wonderful when you recognize an author and say, hey, that's someone from my community, or when we put something out on the Wayside pulpit and it comes from someone you know. The experience of seeing people like you in positions of authority, or being one of the people invited to be visible in a respected position, all of these say, you are worthy. People like you are worthy. The groups that you are a part of are worthy. And that experience of being validated, of being seen, can start to heal the wounds that othering causes. So if you show up this afternoon or tomorrow at the statue of the Virgin of Guadalupe at the Santuario de Guadalupe and listen to the readings of the names of the 68,225 Palestinians who've been killed in Gaza since October 1st, 2023, and the names of the 831 Israelis murdered October 7th, 2023, you will be participating in a ritual affirming the full personhood of all of those murdered, and attempting to communicate to grieving Palestinians that they and their loved ones are seen and valued, and that what happened to them was wrong. When we ring bells in support of DC's statehood, or now for Portland's freedom from the National Guard occupation, we are announcing the fact that we see injustice there, and that its impact on the people in those places matters to us. Now, if I asked you to describe these actions, you'd probably not default to compassion as the description of what was going on. You'd probably say these are social justice actions, or these are advocacy or activism kinds of actions. And that would be true. But because injustice causes pain, and seeing someone and acknowledging their worthiness and doing something to at least begin to alleviate their pain, because that supports healing, these actions are also acts of compassion. As Cornel West said, justice is what love looks like in public.
Each Sunday we place 4 stones in our candle bowl to remind us of 4 deep commitments. The mountain stone reminds us that the land where we gather, called Ogapoge, is the ancestral home of Tewa-speaking people and their descendants, and that we are committed to ending the othering and oppression that disrupted their belonging in this place. The geode reminds us that the seeds of peace are hidden within every conflict, and we are called to tend those seeds. The fossil stone reminds us that this place was once an ocean and may be again. Climate change is real, and we need to act to care for this planet where we all belong. The banded stone reminds us that even when we may seem divided, democracy is real and fragile and worth protecting. May these commitments guide our actions. I'm going to run back.
All right. When we're one down in the tech tower, our choreography is slightly disrupted. There we go. We set aside some time every Sunday morning for the sharing of sorrows and joys. We do this because we know that sorrows shared are easier to bear and that joys that are shared are multiplied. So, on October 5th, we need a candle of healing, actually. Please send good thoughts and healing energy to Dory Ramsey, who has tested positive for COVID. It's from MyBrit. We have a concern for those in cities that are experiencing hostilities from the federal government. We hope these citizens, we express our support to these citizens being able to maintain nonviolent protest. Prayers for Cody's safe return. This is a young man who has gone missing. Gratitude and thanks for the people, for the peaceful Yom Kippur service here at UU Santa Fe on Wednesday and Thursday, and for the Santa Fe police officer who parked unobtrusively a few yards away on Galisteo during the service. It takes a village of caring people. And the flowers in our chancel this morning are Yom Kippur flowers shared by Hamakom. Mary Nykirk writes that she is doing well, stronger every day. She appreciates cards, texts, and phone calls. Please keep them coming. She is in rehab down in Albuquerque right now. We have birthdays coming up this week. Michael Brown, Larry Lee, Rick Cormier, John Lehman, and Melissa Benedict all celebrate birthdays. Happy birthday. And we have some visitors. We have Oliver, welcome, and Jan and Susan. And if you feel like waving, wave, and if you don't, that's okay too. Welcome, we're glad you're here. So, would you light one? Oh, yes, I have actually three more, two more. We need a candle of sorrow at the passing of Jane Goodall. Her willingness to see the sentience and compassion of our primate relatives transformed our understanding of our connectedness here in the world. And then a candle of joy for Dame Sarah Mullally, the new Archbishop of Canterbury. She is the spiritual leader of Great Britain and the first woman in its long history to serve in that role. Anglican women, women clergy, and women around the world are feeling seen in a different way today. All right, one last candle for the sorrows and joys that we have not yet spoken, but carry still in the deep recesses of our hearts. Would you join me, please, as we sing Spirit of Life? Let's move into a time of quiet and contemplation. I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. To take a deep breath and to consciously allow your body to relax. Breathe. And let any tension or anxiety, any stiffness or discomfort exit your body on your breath and dissolve. Breathe. And let your thoughts drift. Breathe. And feel your heart begin to soften and open. Let it unfold until it can cradle all of the beauty and anxiety, all the fear and worry, all the hope and love and dedication that are so much a part of our world right now. Breathe. And as you open your heart, know that you do not have to carry all of these things all by yourself. Let yourself be aware of the room and of the people sitting here near you, breathing and opening their hearts, and of the folks who are watching online or will watch online, opening their hearts and breathing as well. And know that we are connected, each to all of the others, and that we are held in a network of respect and affection and regard. Breathe. And feel yourself held. The Buddhist tradition offers a practice which is tremendously helpful in times like these. It's called loving kindness or metta meditation. And we begin always with ourselves. And so I'm going to say the words, and you can either repeat them silently or repeat them after me as we go through a loving kindness meditation. Take a breath. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be safe. May I be peaceful and at ease. And now I invite you to bring to mind someone you love and care for, and hold them in your mind's eye and speak to them and say, may you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. Extend your regard to someone who is sitting near you this morning. Hold them in your heart and say, may you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. And now I'm going to invite you to stretch just a little bit. Think about someone you recognize but do not know well, a neutral person. Maybe the checker at the grocery store or the person who walks their dog past your house each day. Hold them in your mind's eye and say to them, may you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. And now, bring to mind and open your heart to some person or group you do not know, but to whom your heart goes out. Immigrants in our city, women at the beginning of a pregnancy that they may not want, who who are seeking aid in terminating that pregnancy. Trans youth experiencing uncertainty in this time. Hold them in your heart and offer the words to them. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. Now, and this is the most challenging, bring to mind someone you do not know but are fearful of, or someone that you do know but you dislike. It might be the neighbor with the MAGA bumper sticker on their car, or the person pushing the shopping cart along the street by Agape House. You choose. Hold them in your heart, and let's say to them, may you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. And now let's just extend that sense of compassion and care. And let's say, may all beings be happy. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful and at ease.
We've been talking about finding compassion in these difficult times, and this next poem, I think, really speaks to that. This is Compassion Needs Weather by the Reverend Dr. David Breeden. Compassion is not a hothouse flower. Compassion needs weather. The frost of failure, the storm of anger, the flood of regret, the drought that says there's nothing left to say. Compassion loves rough soil, the stones, weeds, the cracks between our best intentions. Compassion does not bloom quickly. It leans toward light but does not fear shadow. Compassion is not a hothouse flower. It is a tough, persistent wildflower growing between the cracks of the hottest, hardest days. Compassion loves the rough soil of humanity.
May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. We offer these words not only to the people we love, but to the people who have hurt us, because we understand that hurt people hurt other people, and that helping them to heal, even by so small a recognition as offering blessings that they may know nothing about, is a way of helping to heal all of us in the rough soil of our current culture. Compassion, it turns out, is a muscle that responds to regular exercise. Now, compassion is literally means to suffer with. It's the human experience of feeling someone else's pain and wanting to respond to it. And it's quite different, I want to offer, than empathy, okay? A lot of the time when we talk about feeling compassion, what we're actually talking about is empathy. And empathy is what happens when you absorb someone else's pain. And you cannot tell if it is theirs or yours. And if they are intensely reactive and the pain is bad enough, you might find yourself in pain, unable to do anything but hurt. If you are someone who absorbs pain in that way, your response is going to be to not go close to people who are hurting, right? Because if you hurt and you're incapacitated, then you got two people hurting, not just one. With compassion, we feel someone else's suffering. And although we may resonate with their pain, we stay separate enough to know it is their pain, not our pain. And because we have that little space, we are able to look around and arrive at some sense of what we could do that might help make their pain less painful, right? To somehow mitigate or ease their suffering. And so compassion has a certain kind of agency involved in it. Compassion calls us to act in a way that empathy might not. Now, empathy seems to be innate. Human beings grew up in community, evolved in community, as Jane Goodall taught us. And that means being sensitive to the feelings of those around you is really important. But compassion then takes that innate sensitivity and hones it into a skill. It can be challenging to be constantly compassionate, or to be compassionate in ways that don't actually undermine the other person's agency, or inadvertently harm the other person, or even inadvertently harm ourselves. There are books written about, toxic charity and toxic caring, where someone in the mix is being fixed, and by being fixed, they're being belittled at the same time, or someone is pouring out all their energy and attention and care in ways that the other person doesn't want and doesn't experience as caring. So there are two things I try to remember when I'm thinking about compassion. First of all, compassion isn't about fixing. The amount of fixing needed on our planet is way beyond the scope of any one of us or even all of us together. Rather, compassion is about seeing the other person recognizing that they are suffering, and acknowledging their presence and pain. Sometimes, often, that's about all we can do, right? See someone and acknowledge their pain. You might not have the time or the bandwidth or the resources on some days even to stop and listen. But even then, you can make eye contact. You can nod, make an expression that says you feel with them. And if it's someone you know, you might offer a hug and promise to call them later and then follow through. But there are other times when you will have the bandwidth to do more than just listen. You might be able to say good morning and buy someone lunch. You might have time to sit down and listen to their story. You might be able to give them a referral to a plumber or a dentist or a pet sitter. You might have the space in your day and in your heart to really show up and offer whatever support you can genuinely offer. 2, given the huge need in our world right now for people to feel recognized, seen, and supported, we might actually want to be a little proactive around this compassion stuff. We might want to think about rearranging our lives just a little bit so we leave a little extra time in our schedule so that we have the time to be present. We have the time to notice when someone is hurting. We have the time to offer support. There have been a whole host of studies that show when we're overscheduled, we don't even see the homeless person on the street. But when we're moving slowly, when our calendar has somehow opened up, people are more inclined not only to see, but to stop. And we might want to prepare ourselves even a little more than that, so that we're not just giving ourselves time, we're cultivating our bandwidth. You see, when we are well-resourced, when we have been rested and fed, when we meditate or pray or journal, when we've exercised and spent time with our loved ones, when we're not rushed, when our boundaries are intact, when we are filled up, then it is so much easier to be present to another person. That's why the loving kindness practice starts with offering loving kindness to ourselves. Because it's not until we have something to give that compassion becomes possible. So, it's kind of that old image of putting on your own oxygen mask first. If you want to help people be seen, then we have to take the responsibility to ensure that we're able to be present. And we can reflect in advance on what else we have that we can share with grace and ease. So you can offer attention, but you also might offer a compliment. You might offer your appreciation, or a phone call, or an appointment time, or a ride somewhere, or a hug, or a grocery cart, or a trip to the market. The list is endless. When we slow down and actively attend to one another in our human particularity, there are many, many ways we can let people know that we care about them and they matter. Last Sunday, Reverend Victor talked about perspective taking. Realizing that we can only see one little slice of reality, the part that's visible from our standpoint, and that everybody else in the world, all of whom have a different standpoint and a different life experience, they see the world differently than we do. It's always true. And when we sit with someone who we sense is suffering, Our goal is to listen to their experience from their point of view so they feel seen and understood. What that means is you don't have to agree with the conclusions that they draw about what's happening. It's not your job to correct them. You can ask questions, that's fine. But it actually doesn't help someone feel seen to tell them they're doing it wrong, right? So you listen, we listen, even when we don't agree. Our task is to remember that the person we're listening to, whether it's your brother-in-law or the person in the line waiting to vote early who is in front of you, or the person who sits next to you at the potluck, whoever they are, whatever they say, they are still fully human, as real and complex and worthy as you are or as I am. And the only thing we're called to do, or the first thing we're called to do, is listen to their description of what's going on in their world. You may see the world from that gray rectangle point of view, and they may see it from the orange circle perspective. And what a great opportunity for you to learn to see the world through someone else's eyes. And when they're done, or when your time is up, they've gone off to vote, or you've gone off to take your dishes back to the kitchen. When your time is up, you can thank them for sharing their experiences and their perspective. If you can validate something about what they said that you have in common, or name something you appreciate, that's wonderful too. But you can simply say, they've given you real food for thought, and you appreciate that. It seems so obvious, and yet it's so hard. We tend to be protective of our way of seeing things, and defensive when someone tells us that that's not the whole of the way that the world is. But really listening to each other as a way of beginning to see and understand is an important first step towards healing so much of the othering that's happening in our world and beginning to depolarize our culture. And it's a way of expressing your compassion. May we be happy. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May it be so. Okay, Cheryl and Jan.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be here. It's a beautiful day. Let me start by saying that. I am Cheryl Ansel. I am a friend of UUSF, and I also have the pleasure of being the board president for Esperanza Shelter. And it's a perfect time for us to be here because it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So thank you for the perfect timing, and thank you for inviting us. Esperanza's gone through some challenging times, as you can imagine, but we also have a lot of great things going on. And as far as I'm concerned, the greatest thing that happened was that we hired Jan McCrae to be our CEO. And I think you met her actually just when she started with us. So she's here today. And I'm laughing. She drove with one hand, and she said, I always drive with one hand because she had wrist surgery. So I'm just warning you all to be careful when you leave the parking lot. Watch for Jan. So anyway, I'll hand it over to Jan.
And yes, as you can see, I had wrist surgery. I fell over the dog. She came and we intersected, and it did not work out well. Thankfully, she's fine. I, however, needed some repair. But if we haven't met before, I am Jan McCrae. I am CEO of Esperanza Shelter here in Santa Fe. We are the northern, I always say northern central New Mexico. We provide domestic violence services for everyone experiencing domestic violence through the entire range, whether that are folks who are causing violence or harm in the home, women and children who are experiencing violence in the home, and how we can stop those cycles. We just finished our annual numbers for this last year. Our numbers are up anywhere 30 to 50% above what they were over the last year. I contribute that a lot to the fabulous staff that we now have in Santa Fe, who are trained, certified domestic violence advocates, answering our 24/7 crisis hotline. All of our services are free and confidential. Crisis hotline, emergency residential shelter that we've been able to expand to 30 beds, but our capacity runs at about 95% for those hotel folks like myself. We also offer individual counseling for adults and children, survivor support groups, abuse intervention programs, court advocacy, case management, and all around wraparound services. Over the last year or two, as I'm coming up on my second anniversary already, time has flown. We have noticed some gaps in Santa Fe that really need filling. And one of those gaps is bringing men into the agency as ambassadors with our Men Against Domestic Violence group and initiative. And that group is really designed to have men kind of push the movement forward, the domestic violence movement, and come in and educate themselves, educate others, and share with their friends ways that we can make our community safer in our own homes. We're going to be launching that a little bit more throughout this month of October. If you'd like some more information on that, please contact me. I know Reverend Gail has my contact info. We've also launched our strangulation task force. Strangulation is the number one leading factor prior to a domestic homicide. Those things are happening throughout northern New Mexico, and we are leaning into the data and studying and how can we provide services to keep people alive who are experiencing domestic violence. We also have our open house and annual meeting that is coming up. We invite each and every one of you to come to our support center on 3130 Rufina Street on November 5th. Our open house is from 4 to 6. You can come and see what we're doing over there and meet our staff and see our kind of refresh. And then our annual meeting will be from 6 to 8. And then also to round out the year, we'll have our Trees of Hope fundraiser, where folks in the community create Christmas trees, and then we auction them off to benefit Esperanza. I can talk for days, and I want to stay super focused. So I want to thank you again for letting me come and have a little bit of your time today. UU Santa Fe has always been an incredibly important partner, helping those particularly in our shelter who are going into transitional housing. We've added 3 tiny homes.
Yay.
I know, right? That's so exciting. As a temporary pause or a Band-Aid onto the housing crisis that we face here in Santa Fe County. If you do want to write a check, that would need to be made to New Mexico Coalition Against Domestic Violence. You can abbreviate that NMCADV. See me or Cheryl, we can help you with that. And as always, we very much appreciate every bit of support from the congregation. It means an incredible amount to not only myself and Esperanza, but to the entire community that we serve. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay. So Adam, I think you are slated to come up and say a few words, and then we'll pass one set of baskets. If you have contributions to UU Santa Fe, they can go right in the basket, but you can also put the lime green envelopes in the basket and they will get shared with Jan.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Adam Wasserman. I'm a member of your board. Well, it's fall. Fall means falling temperatures. It means the leaves are coming down, and it means it's time for our annual book sale. And the book sale this year is going to be from October 30th to November 1st, Thursday through Saturday. And we need two things from you. We need your books and your games and puzzles and CDs and DVDs. And I know I'm one of the people who has a very hard time letting go of my books. And you probably are too, but here's the truth, the sad truth, you can't take them with you. So the book, so we need you to bring them here to UU Santa Fe. Not quite yet, but we'll start taking them a week from tomorrow on October 13th. And the second thing we need from you is your help, your volunteer help to make this happen. We have lots of fun things to do, moving tables around, unpacking books, making signs, manning the cashier station, and so on. There's a sign-up sheet out in the foyer and some flyers about the book sale. Please tell your friends, tell people that you know in the community. And we thank you very much for your support. The book sale is, of course, one of the big ways we raise money. And we will now, here's another way, we will pass around our baskets here, and anything that you can give would be greatly appreciated.
So what Adam didn't tell you is that when you bring books to the book sale, it opens up space on your bookshelf. So that then you can come shop a few weeks later. And you will notice that you can't bring your books next Sunday. Next Sunday, there is a huge party out in the courtyard, and you are invited. It is in the sukkah, celebrating Hamakom's 25th anniversary. So we couldn't fill the sanctuary with bags and boxes while they were going to have a party that they invited us to. So please mark your calendar. You are invited to come. And then after the party, we can start collecting the books. All right. Thank you, friends. We appreciate your generosity.
We extinguish our chalice today with words from Miller Williams. Whenever we seek out poetry and readings for services, I always like to learn a little bit about the person. And Miller Williams, in addition to being a well-known poet, a university professor, a translator, and a lot of other things, is also the dad of Lucinda Williams, the singer-songwriter. So, fun fact. This is called Compassion. Compassion. Have compassion for everyone you meet, even if they don't want it. What seems conceit, bad manners, or cynicism is always a sign of things no ears have heard, no eyes have seen. You do not know that wars are going on down there where the spirit meets the bone.
Please join hands with someone who is seated or standing near you and repeat after me. May love and skill be in our hands. May love and courage fill our hearts. May love and wisdom light our minds. May love flow through us and walk among us. As we learn to see each other's pain. And work together to heal our world. Amen, shalom, namaste, blessed be, assalamu alaikum, ashe, aho. Please turn and greet your neighbors and go and have a wonderful day.
Thank you for joining us today, friends. We hope that you enjoyed today's service. Please take a little time and explore our website and visit our online welcome table if you'd like to know more about us. Otherwise, we'll see you next Sunday morning. Stay in touch and be well.